Hey there, this is Christine. Thanks for tuning into my Mostly Keto Kitchen today. So today is going to be part number 2 of my nutritional analysis. So if you missed the first video, you can check it out on YouTube, and it is where I talked about the results I found when I looked at a bunch of my favorite foods and I looked at the different micronutrient content in them. So vitamins and minerals, figuring out which foods have the highest amount of those. And what I found from that analysis was that the most healthy foods, no surprise, were leafy greens, liver, herbs, so that was a little bit of a surprise, and then mushrooms and seeds. But what I think was most interesting about the analysis was how many foods have a little bit of almost all of the nutrients. And I think that really makes sense for the way that we evolved. And that is that we sometimes didn't have a lot of choice, but we still needed to be healthy. Obviously, we were healthy enough to get this far in evolution. So with minimal options, we were able to stay healthy. And so a lot of foods are really well designed for us to eat them. And so I want to build on that today and talk about 2 different ways of eating that are really kind of the polar opposites of each other. So we've got vegan at one end and carnivore at the other. And I know there's a lot of debate out there. Vegan people think they're totally doing the right thing. And then there's this newer movement of carnivorism. And those people also say this is the way to eat. Now, it's very personal, I think. I think the reasons to eat vegan are personal, and I think the reasons to eat carnivore are personal. And so, but what's kind of nice when you go look at those micronutrient breakdowns, you find that you can be healthy and be vegan. You can be healthy and be only a meat eater. Very interesting. But there are a couple caveats to each of those, and that's what I want to talk about. So as far as being a vegan, one thing you do need to do is supplement your B12. And that's pretty easy to do. Most vegans are going to eat some yeast, some nutritional yeast, and that has been supplemented with vitamin B12. So end of story, solves that problem. Now, there are some other molecules that we may need that are not considered the standard vitamins and minerals. So for example, choline. Choline is something that's really high in liver and in eggs. However, you could also get it in wheat germ, and it's really important that we eat enough choline. And so I don't know how many little things like that are out there that we don't know of as being an essential, but are still essential. So vitamins, minerals, and then essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. But what are the other little bits and pieces that we need on top of that? So choline would be one of those examples. So you do need to do a little bit of supplementation if you're eating vegan diet. However, the thing that concerns me most about the vegan diet is that plant-based also includes sugar and grains and vegetable and seed oils. Now, those things are what's bad in our food system. Okay, we've got too much sugar, too much emphasis on grains, and many of those grains are not healthy. And then we have vegetable and seed oils, and depending on how they're processed and also whether they're heated, and I do have a video on what happens when you heat the polyunsaturated fats, this can be a pretty unhealthy diet. And I think people don't notice right away, but eventually it catches up with them. And so me personally, that's not such a great way for me to go. Now, I'm not a carnivore, but I do eat meat. And one of the reasons why I do that is because I have Hashimoto, so that's the thyroid autoimmune disease. So I seem to have some antibodies that are attacking my thyroid. And it seems like the foods that are generally thought of as allergens, so peanuts and soy and other nuts and grains and dairy, those are some of the things that seem to irritate me. Like my thyroid will get a little bit more puffed up when I eat too many of those. And so I seem to be better off kind of erring on the side of having a little bit more meat. But the thing about meat, though, for the people that are going all carnivore, the thing that makes it healthy for them is they do need to go nose to tail. All right, so meaning you got to eat the whole organism. So you want to eat organs, and that means like your liver, and then you also want to do something with those bones. So I've been big on doing collagen bone broths lately, and I think it makes me feel way better. So really enjoying the way that I've been eating lately with having the bone broth around the house all the time. So okay, so those are the contrasts, and I want to say one other little thing, and that is if we think about, well, what do we prefer, right? I mean, my preference, I would like to eat sugar all the time. I would like to eat bread all the time. Having vegetable and seed oils, they kind of lighten things up and they make things tastier. So, our tendency would be to want to eat this way, but it's not all that healthy for us. It's harder to sit here and eat liver, and it's harder to make bone broths. Now, you can just buy collagen also. I think that works just fine, and I'll do a whole video just on collagen because I think it's really interesting. But anyway, so it's not so easy to eat this way. It's pretty easy to eat that way. That way can be more delicious and just indulgent, I would say, and you do have to be more careful with it. All right, I hope that was helpful. All right, thanks for listening.